Let there be peace and love among all beings of the universe. Let there be peace. Let there be peace. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Namaskar, Namaskar. Welcome. Let us speak about ego this morning because I received letters from many young children who are here that ego is troubling them, although they are here in satsang. How to get rid of this ego? They are true because men on the earth and gods in the heaven are all afflicted by ego, and no one can ever be happy who has not got rid of this ego. Tulsidas says, this ego is a serpent, and who in the world or in the heaven who is not smitten by this serpent? So says the Goswami. And it is true. Serpent may kill a man once and it is over. But this ego will kill you once and yet not satisfied. Again you are revived. Next time, again you will be killed. And you have been gone through this process for the last millions of years, still surviving from incarnation to incarnation. And we cannot be happy unless we get rid of it. It is not difficult to do it, only you have to watch the whole process. Where does it rise from? Simply, carefully be vigilant and watchful. Where does it rise from? Ego, first of all. Nobody has seen ego. It may be just in the name only. It may not exist as does the ghost. Only name. Reality for the child. He says there is a ghost in the room, but no one has seen ever the ghost. Maybe a ghost itself, but troublesome. It does not exist. In the beginning, what could have been there except truth or consciousness? In the beginning, when there was nothing, even before the consciousness, even before the Creator, Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, even they were not created. Before that, there should have been something, call it emptiness or consciousness or bliss whatsoever. It has no name. Space. Call it by any name, like a lake without any ripple, without any disturbance, just a lake, not agitated by air. Like this, it should have been consciousness alone. From there, a ripple rise as one ripple rises in the lake, and then it gets separated. Why? Because name is different. Now no more lake. Now it is called ripple, and shape, different shape. Here begins the separation from the lake, and it thinks I am separate, and this separation has created time and space. Time and space, limitation. From here it arises from consciousness. I know. This consciousness, within the consciousness, consciousness wants to know itself as in the lake. Lake arises a ripple. Likewise, the consciousness lived as consciousness, but wherever there is smoke, there must be fire. So one ripple, one blink of thought arose even in the consciousness, and that is known ego. How it is coming in? Ego, mind, same thing. Ego is rising now from consciousness, and here you have to be careful where ego is arising from. It should not be different than the consciousness itself. The bubble or a wave rising from the ocean should never be different from the ocean itself, as the substance, liquidity is the same. But how come this wave has forgotten itself as being an ocean, and this ego is now separating? If it is careful that I am not separate in the substance, my substratum being the consciousness, still I am consciousness. As in our behavior in the house, the head of the family is called husband by the wife, and father by the children, brother by the brothers. He goes to office and he becomes either an officer or a colleague or a worker. Different names, person remains the same. Like this, the consciousness remains the same, because even becoming an ego, even separating, if you are still conscious of the consciousness itself, let it rise. And now, because we have lost contact with the substratum itself, with the consciousness, and here we call it mind or ego. From the mind, space. And for space, we need whole manifestation. To see the manifestation, we have to create different senses. Now the mind is creating the senses, body, senses, eyes to see, ear to hear, nose to smell, mouth to taste, hands to touch. And we need now objects of their respective pleasures. Then manifestation. Then we get lost with our relationship with the objects of the sight, objects of the sound, objects of the smell, objects of the touch, and forget our substratum. And we are lost in relationships. And if we remember our previous status, if you have not forgotten, your original fundamental substance, essence from where you started, how can you even be lost by any kind of circumstances? You can play any role you like. How you feel that I am lost. Here in satsang, I am okay, I am alright, I am in peace. But going back to the West, I lost everything. How can it be possible? It's simply your relationship with someone else. And if you know who is conscious of even this relationship, there may be relationship of two persons or many persons. This knowledge of knowing that I am related to such and such. What about this consciousness that you are aware you cannot forget, but somehow we forget it and therefore we are in trouble. As a king who dreamt that he was a beggar once. A king dreamt he was a beggar, and just for an instant of time, and he was troubled. And then he told the story to one of his ministers, very able minister. He told, what is it? Just, I was fatigued, and then I had a wink of a nap, and then during this nap, I thought that I was a beggar. And then I saw other beggars also, my brothers. They used to go to the king to beg for food, to the capital town, and I also was going to beg. He said, the other people were running. He says, don't you know today is the birthday of the king, and he is giving one gold sovereign and food and clothes. Therefore, come along. So I also had gone there, and we had begged food, and for the first time, new clothes. So I thought I must have a good shower. I went to the well, and I had a shower, and the food packet was kept there. And meanwhile, while taking a shower, a dog came, took away my food packet. And then I ran after the dog to snatch the food from the mouth of the dog. This is the king running after a dog to eat the food. This is what is actually happening, being a king. Why he did it? Because he had a nap. Slight nap. So, running after a dog, there was a boulder. He slipped over. While slipping over, everything was over. There were no dog, no beggar. He was seated on his throne as he was. Then he was very much troubled. It was very real. I have been begging for many years as a beggar. How is it? Which is true? Which is reality? I am king now, and today is my birthday, and I am giving food to all the beggars, and I became one of them. For just a blink of eye. This is what happens, you see. Just a blink of eye. You have not been careful. You slept. You slept from your own majesty and became a beggar. Don't sleep. Keep aware always of the self. One blink is quite enough to dethrone the king and made him a beggar, running after a dog for the food. That's how it is happening. Everybody is running after a dog to snatch a food. Who is satisfied? He who got just skidded over a boulder with real ice is nature. He is awake from the dream, then he will know. Therefore, don't allow a single second. Keep away from your own self. Then the ego is not going to rise. Then the object of the senses are created, and we are running after the object of senses and forget ourselves. If you are careful what you are doing, the objects of the senses anything that you see, objects of the senses can never be different than the senses. Anything that I see, it cannot be different from my senses of seeing or touch. Object is not different from the senses. Senses are not different than the body. My hand is not different from my body, and how can it be? All combination of my limbs is called one body. So senses, body, objects, senses, body. We are going back again now. As we came, return back as we came. As we descended, so let us ascend now. Objects, senses, body. Body cannot be different than mind. When there is no mind, there is no body also. In the waking state, we have body, we have mind also. In dream, we have body, we have mind also. In sleep, we have no mind and no body. Everything is missing. So, body is not different than mind. And mind is not different than ego. My body, you say. My body, my mind, my senses, my objects, my relations. Now you are returning back to the throne again. My ego. Wave rising from the ocean. How separated? My ego. Where does this ego rise from? As it arose, so let it fall now. Let it fall back to the same lake, unruffled. Where does the ego rise from? And this ego is not different than I. When you utter the word I, then everything rises. When you sleep, there is no I. In the dream, I is there. In the wakeful state, I is there. Now I and ego, no difference. Where does the I rise from? When you utter the word I, where does it rise from? I, ego, mind, body, senses, object. That's all you can experience. You can't experience anything beyond. If you do, please tell me. Objects, all these objects. What objects? Sight, sound, smell, taste, touch. That's all. You can't speak of anything else. So objects are there, manifestation is there, and this is your own creation. Mind you, this is your own creation, your own projection, own reflection on the mirror. On the mirror, you look in the mirror, what do you see? Your own face. And if you don't look at the mirror, what is there in the mirror? Whom does this mirror reflect into it? Only its own shine. It's only shine of its own, nothing else. Own reflection. So again, when I rises, all past, present, future, hells and heavens and this universe is rising now. Mind you, one I includes everything. And this is happiness, unhappiness, sufferings, sorrows, all including into it. Where does this I is rising from? How does it rise? Now stay here, stop here, as we daily do it here. There is nothing else done here, nothing else being taught here. Only locate the location of the I. Find out the source of the I. Where does it rise from? How does it spring from? Stay here, stop here, and this is called contemplation. This is called meditation. And staying here in this, just watching, just keeping vigilance, absolute vigilance, and waiting for the result. I am sure you are not disturbed. You must be very happy, because contemplation is where mind is not divided. There is no limitation in the mind. Unlimited mind is no mind. And limitation is that you want something else. I want this and I want that. That is called suffering, sorrow, tension, or totally you call it universe, or manifestation, or mind, or time. Staying here, simply keeping watchful and waiting for the result, not more than just 1 second. I speak of 1 second, it's not a time, because just to converse, I borrow this language just to converse with you, because I have to converse. Otherwise, I prefer to keep quiet. If I do, and you will say he's a crazy man, you will not come here at all. So I have to borrow the same words so that you understand me, but my intention is to somehow convince you of the fact that you are already free, and you are already conscious. consciousness and bliss and happiness, and suffering is not your nature. This suffering, this sorrow, you must have borrowed from someone else. If you think it clearly by yourself, when you speak of suffering, you must have borrowed it from someone else, or you say, I suffer on my own account, and there's nobody who has disturbed my peace of mind. When you throw a stone in the lake, then only it is troubled. Otherwise, it is unruffled. But throw a stone, it is disturbed. And which is this stone? You must have picked up the stone from outside, somewhere at the bank. It doesn't belong to the lake. Lake is liquid, and stone is solidity. They don't go together. You are happiness and tension cannot go together. Rock is rock and water is water. So question yourself, where I arises from. That's all you are requested to investigate within yourself. Now this is going where the wave is rising from. This is a wave now. This quest of the self is not outside. This is rising from within you. Don't call it, because some people say this is also doing. This is also an effort. I said no effort. They say this is yet an effort. How can you call it effort? Returning back to your own happiness and disturbance whatsoever, you don't call it I am making any kind of effort in disturbance, only staying at peace. If I say keep quiet, you say this is effort. We need some effort. There's someone who wrote yesterday, this is also an effort to keep quiet. How can it be then? What effort do you make when you go to sleep? What effort is needed when you go to sleep? You have to rid all kind of efforts to go to sleep. If you make any kind of effort, you cannot sleep. This is as easy as anything. And those people who get it, there are few who got it, this thing, and they say, was it so easy? They laugh at themselves. Was it so easy? Why we have traveled so long? What can I say? Then you have traveled so long, it was so easy. What can I do? Who told you to travel so long and come to Lucknow? You can know it wherever you are. For this you don't need any preceptor. To know thyself, you don't need any preceptor. You don't need any God. They are all later on. God is your creation because you have to be earlier to think of God. Thinker is earlier than the thought, isn't it? The worshipper must be earlier than the God itself. Otherwise, where does the God come from? There must have been someone who has created God in his mind, then the statue came afterwards, you see. You must have been earlier than the earliest, but you don't believe. If you get rid of all these desires and notions that you have created by borrowing from others, you see. Notions is not your own invention. Your invention is only happiness, peace, and these notions and these intentions you have borrowed from other sources, and that you have somehow to get rid of it and become clean now. And this is no teaching. This is no teaching at all. To return home to your own self. To sleep, where do you go to ask someone how to sleep? When you go? You go to psychiatrist, he will charge you $500 for this thing. He will tell you how to sleep, and surely you will never sleep. You will never sleep. Any trouble, then he already tells you. Psychiatrists have seen, one man could not sleep and he went to the psychiatrist. He said, now you will sleep, and if you don't sleep, you give me a ring in night 12 o'clock. So he must wake up. He must be awake to ring him up again. Then I will again start this thing. Because he himself never has slept. I see many psychiatrists have come to me in Rishikesh, many psychiatrists from the States and also from France. Very much trouble. They say, how can we become psychiatrists unless we are troubled ourselves? The most efficient psychiatrist is one who himself has passed through all these psychosis, neurosis, and psychosomatic diseases. That's what he says. Then you can know the minds of the people. Yeah. I had one conference with only psychiatrists, about 20 male doctors and 35 female doctors in Frankfurt. They invited me, said there should be nobody else except only psychiatrists. We have to speak our difficulties with you. And everybody suffering themselves, you see. So you don't need any physician. You are all right. Only when you say, I am so and so. Why don't you suffer then when you sleep? Why don't you consult any physician? Why don't you suffer when you are sleeping? Do you call any doctor when you are sleeping? You don't suffer any disease. Trouble is when you become, I am the body. Then body is disease itself. Why to remove disease? Remove one disease, another will come up. Have you seen anybody without disease, first of all? Even from the birth of the child. Children bring the diseases along with the birth. So how to get rid of this disease, first of all? Body itself is a disease. Why to trouble it again and again? Why not to be free as it is, as you have been, so that you never fall sick? Do it once for all, because this has been done already by few people. Yes. Ryan, R-Y-N, Ryan. I'll get back there some. Your luminous presence was the catalyst which allowed me to see my true self. Excellent. Very beautiful. I am delighted to read this line even. Your luminous presence was the catalyst which allowed me to see my true self. Then, since that event, 1 week previous, my ego has caused me so much doubt and confusion that contact with truth has been lost. That's not possible and I don't understand. Therefore, please clarify your position. When you say, I am dead, what does it mean? Say, I am dead.
I am dead.
What does it mean? What does it mean?
I doesn't exist.
What do you say?
I doesn't exist.
No. I am dead, what does it mean? If somebody says, I am dead to the doctor, and which cremation ground should I go? What will you say? Which is the grave for me? Which is the grave allotted for me because I am dead? What is me?
Can't be dead.
You are not dead because you are speaking I am dead. A man who speaks I am dead is not dead. No. Like this you say, I have lost truth. Okay? Even if somebody can die, he can die. Still the truth doesn't die. Once having attained truth, you say, I have lost my truth. So even this is correct, I said. You say, I have lost my truth, and during this period, during the sentence, I have lost the truth. What is it? What you have lost? You said, no, I have lost the truth. I have lost the truth. What is this I who has lost the truth? Either way you prove now. Either you go to truth or you return back to the I and say, let this I say that she has lost the truth. Or the truth say, I have lost the I. Let this speak. Don't meditate. Now I am speaking to you. If you had meditated, it would not have happened. It would not have happened. After having realized the truth, as you say, you always have contact with truth, concentrate on truth, contemplate on truth, speak about truth to your friends, and when friends are not there, think about truth. In waking state, speak about truth, read about truth, walking also walk about truth, and then dream about truth, then sleep, remember the truth. How are you going to lose? 1 day is quite enough. So what mistake did you make?
Truth is there.
When you say, I have lost the truth, during that period, what did you gain?
My old self.
No, you must, when you lose something, I give you something, you take care of it. Now, take this in hand. What is this in your hand? What is this in hand?
Glass?
Glass. Give me the glass now. Now what is this in the hand?
Nothing.
Nothing. Like this thing. When the truth was in the hand, now you take this in the hand. Now. Okay? There was a glass in the hand, and then you left the glass, and now what is in your hand? Paper. That's what I say. When you held truth in your mind, then the truth is lost. So what did you keep anything else in the mind like this? Tell me.
The notion?
Huh?
I held a notion?
What notion? There must be something. You have thrown away the truth as the glass. You have thrown away the truth. There must be something more precious that you rejected the truth and you welcome something else. What is that something more precious than the truth that you liked? That must stay with you. You always like that which is always very dear to you in the mind, that you get. That means truth you never liked. Therefore, you left it, you have thrown it away. So you need something else. You like something else. What's that something? Tell me.
Self? Self?
What?
Self?
Self and truth is same thing. Self you can't lose. Can you say, I have lost myself? Say this thing. And if you say, I have lost myself, then where you will be sent to? You know that place. You know that place. Nothing can be replaced unless you love something better than that, you see. If you have $100 note in your hand and somebody gives you a chocolate, take this chocolate and give me this piece of paper, what will you do? After all, piece of paper you can't eat, and this is a chocolate. This is Cadbury chocolate, somebody tells you. He gives you, take this and give me this paper, what will you do? What are you going to do? Tell me honestly.
Keep the paper.
Huh? What?
I'll keep the paper.
Keep the paper. Here is very clever and for truth, one piece of Cadbury chocolate is, you take away my truth and give me one chocolate. That's what you have done. So that is like child. Children do it. If it was a child, he will say, give me chocolate and take away the paper. That is for the innocent, not for the wise. That is the difference. We like this thing because of we are innocent. We are not wise. No wise will like this place which ends in sorrow. Nobody will like it. Wise man will not play this bargain. Wise man will never accept anything that can be lost. Never accept. Wise man will aspire for a diamond, not for a piece of shell. In your presence, the veil of ego is very easily lifted. Could you please show me my true nature? Help me firmly establish myself. Very good. Peace. be firmly established in the self is very simple way to reject everything which is changing. Self means that which does not change. Self means that which does not change. And if you reject anything that changes, that dies, then that's all you have got to do. Reject anything that appears to you that it will change in the night. It will fade in the light like mirage. In the daytime it's a very cool river, so I will go to have a swim, isn't it? And people are running towards the river of the mirage, but one who knows this is only sand, they will not run after it. But all the world, all the people, all the 6 billion people are running towards this mirage. To have to cool down themselves, to be happy with this swim. And more they run towards it, farther it goes. Everybody is running after. Nobody has been satisfied. Nobody has found the depth of this mirage. No one is happy here. Tell me who's happy here? And who's happy in taking swim in the mirage, in the desert? Someone here and there, like Buddha, he will not go to this mirage. He will decide once for all. It's mirage. Birth, disease, death. One trip outside the palace, he decided he never went again and finished, sat down under the Bodhi tree, meditated and was enlightened. Then he did not lose the truth. He lost the world, and now the world is after him. Everything is after him. He is no more. 2,600 years have passed. But now we are building gold Buddhas. Gold Buddhas in Bangkok and other places. Gold Buddhas we are making. And now I don't think even his bones could be seen alive. But gold Buddhas all over the world, you see. This is the magic of someone who has left that changes and accepted which is permanent, abiding, and truth. That's all. Like this you have to decide. This haggling won't do.
Does Papaji have any ego?
Any?
Does Papaji have an ego?
Yes, I have. I have ego. Many people to say I have ego because she likes to serve me, you see. The ego likes to serve me as a maid servant. You have a maid servant in the house? Do you like her or not? Yeah. Without that, the house cannot run. So she is very helpful, and when some occasion arises, she, without telling me, she takes care. I have no complaint against ego. Let her live in my house. I have no problem, you see, because I don't find any enmity between her and me. She is very happy with me because some people I hear, they ask, I saw Papaji was eating ice cream, yes, and Coca-Cola. No, Swamis, take Coca-Cola and ice cream. I said, the ice cream has nothing to do with your enlightenment, you see. Enlightenment doesn't care for ice cream. Ice cream straight away goes from the tongue to stomach, you see. So my enlightenment doesn't dislike ice cream. So when the ice cream comes, I take ice cream. I have no problem because first of all, I have no restrictions and I don't have any do's and don'ts as the Swamis perform. You shouldn't do this thing, you shouldn't do that. You say, I don't belong to that. You may do whatever you want to do, normal life as anybody does. Not only become something different, separate yourself from the society, wear malas and dye your clothes. And this color has got nothing to do whether white or black or orange. It has got nothing to do. Nor with anything you have to behave like this thing, neither the behavior. This belongs to religions at least, you see. Religions, do's and don'ts. If you go to church, you will go to heaven. If you don't, you go to hell, but after death. So I don't ask you to do something or not do something. That promises of the religious founders after death. But why not to make Jews before death while alive? Do as you like, live as you like, but in a way that doesn't touch you. The body context will not interfere with your understanding. Very good it is, no?
The birds and such on
There's some battery inside, I know. Yes. Battery. Now it doesn't twitter now, you see. There must be battery inside, then only it can twitter. So there must be the battery of ego in each person to speak, you see. If you remove the ego, it doesn't twitter, you see. She is very happy in twittering. Very happy. Benares, India. Chunni. Dear Papaji, and offering from Varanasi, sunrise, Benares, timeless. Repetition for the freshness of the now, just now, this moment, by moment, now, brilliant sun rising. Springing golden fiery light across the Ganga, shimmering dance of light and dark, arising creativity, a new day, a request. Please show me how to go beyond the boundary of ego. One final time. Bus. Now and forever without limit. Love, gratitude from USA. Chenoy Dezil. Who's Dezil? You are coming. What's your name? Choni Dezil. What's your name? Chunni Dezil?
Chuni Desal.
Dezal. Please show me the way how to go beyond the boundary of ego. One final time. To go beyond the boundary of the ego. So,
Final.
finally, yes, finally, of course, finally.
Final, not finally.
Yes, absolutely. Finally, of course, I will tell you finally. I will go beyond the ego, finally, I will tell you.
No, don't surrender.
How don't give rise to this question. What do you say? Don't give rise to this question at all. Your ego is hit very hard because you asked me a question and I tell you keep quiet, don't give rise to this question. What will happen to this ego who became this question? And you are wanting to hear some answer, some reply. And I tell you, don't give rise to this question. Now you tell me what has happened this moment. I tell you, don't give rise to this question. What has happened to this question?
There's no question.
What do you say?
There's no question.
No question. And if there's no question, how can the ego survive? Can she?
I don't know her trick.
No. What is happening, you tell me. You don't go and read any book. Don't go anywhere. What is happening now, you have to tell me.
I don't see her.
What do you say?
I don't see her.
You don't see. Then. So this is the final end of ego. Here and now, just now.
You're very tricky.
I may be anything, you don't worry about it. I may be anything, but the trick has worked or not. Trick has worked, isn't it? You go to a doctor, you are diseased, you are pain, and you say, doctor, I have much pain in my heart and stomach. And the doctor goes inside, in her room, in this case, in her room she goes and brings some needle to give you more pain. And she gives you injection. And you don't like the doctor also, but this pain has relieved your pain, isn't it? Instantly, isn't it? So let this doctor be cruel. You came for some relief, and he brings a needle and put in your body. But his needle has worked, isn't it? So like this. It's only a trick, you see, because you have been tricked by ego also. You have been tricked by ego, always chattering like monkey all your life. All your life, one is chattering like monkey, no end of chattering, you see. So this was your trick by the ego, and I have injected that ego. That ego is now tricked. How easy it is, How easy. Isn't it? Yeah. Here is the face you show very well, I don't doubt that simply you are saying, I can find out from your eyes, from your face itself, because the face is the mirror that reflects your heart, yourself is reflected by your face. Your face is the mirror of your feelings. You can't hide. Instantly, ego is finished, isn't it? In this very instant, it is finished. It is the ego that troubles a man, you see. Only the ego. What's your name?
Julie Desal.
You come here and you have to tell everybody how you got it, how this trick has played, because you have given me a new name for me today also. Mr. Tricky. Well, what will you speak to your friends when you say, whom did you meet in Lucknow? What will
Well, I would say I met the man with the painless needle.
Okay, acupuncturist. Okay, now you speak, how did you get it so soon? What has happened to you? What has happened just now? You said, no ego, I don't see ego. What is the trick? Did you get this trick? How it worked? Because you are going to help many people if you know what the trick is.
I don't know, it's sort of like
What?
self saw self in now.
What?
Self saw,
Soft,
seeing self
Yeah.
in now. Now. You use the word now.
Now. Yeah.
Now. Self seeing self in now.
Can it be understood, this language? Okay, I will see how you work. I will see how you work at this girl. Come on. What you say? What?
I was wondering about that.
You were?
I was wondering about that.
About her, no? Yes, yes.
Well, about how she could help me with the ghost of